Hello and welcome back to another episode of Tiger Eye. We've got a great episode for you this week. Anthony is taking a trip down the hall to the guidance office. Max was at our winter formal to get some insider info, and I talked to some about their spending habits. But first, some announcements. Our first ever Tiger Nation raffle is underway, and if you want to participate, you can scan the QR code on the screen now. Discounted prom tickets are being sold in the cafeteria, so fill out the form on the WAG and get them cheap now. Tomorrow is the ACT for all of our juniors, so get good rest tonight and good luck tomorrow. Now, let's give it to Anthony.
The first week of February is Guidance Counselor Appreciation Week, where schools all across the nation give thanks to their guidance staff for all that they do for their students. Guidance counselors work all 4 years of a student's high school experience to make sure that they step up to the podium on graduation day, and getting to know them every step of the way.
For sure, getting to know the students and building the relationships with the students. As a counselor, and especially the three of us having our own individual alphabets, the students on our caseload we get to know really well, over the course of 4 years.
Probably the most rewarding part is getting to see the students be successful, where I can work with them and help them through their challenges, and then eventually the end goal is to see them graduate.
Probably the most rewarding part, aside from graduation, is just seeing students be able to achieve their dreams.
Although, to be able to help all students achieve their dreams, guidance counselors work on a multitude of things, both with students and for the school as a whole, that might not be evident to most.
I'm also in charge of all of the 504 plans for students at Fred T. Ford, which is upwards of 70 students. So I'm in charge of helping get them supports.
I help with caps and gowns. Ms. Miller and I collaborate with AP testing. I work on social media. That's a lot of the stuff that we do is collaborative.
Our counselor, Brooke Ward, has worked here for 10 years. Although she didn't always do this. Before, she worked for 2 years in the 5th grade over at Wake County Schools. Her want to do more for her students moved her here.
The school that I worked at, the students that were there, it was a high poverty school, and the issues that they were dealing with, I knew what was going on, but I didn't feel like I could stop everything and give them the full attention that I knew that they needed.
While some counselors started off wanting to work for the school district, others, like Natasha Smith, started off elsewhere but found her calling here.
Went to school initially to be a youth pastor, so I'm clearly not a youth pastor, but things kind of changed as I finished my bachelor degree, and I had an opportunity to be able to continue on and get my master's in counseling so that I could be a school counselor.
A love for one's work is important in any field, but especially in counseling. That love for seeing your students grow as not just academic students, but as people, is a great motivator for some.
I think the love for being a school counselor is what motivates me, because I want the students to do well, and I want to help them, because that's why I'm here,
Literally just watching the growth and development and maturity that takes place, because, we're all human, we all make mistakes. So especially kind of those teaching moments.
But all of those teaching moments add up to the big day at graduation, which for Miss Ward is a highlight.
I love graduation day. Is one of my favorite days of the year. So people say I'm crazy. I'm still hopeful I'll make it back on graduation day, because I believe I'll have the baby before then.
And thank you to all of our counselor staff for all that you do for our school. 1 week just isn't enough to show all of our appreciation. Now, back to you, Heather.
Thanks, Anthony, and thanks to our guidance staff for what you do. Last semester, Tiger Eye did a segment on our homecoming dance. Well, recently we had our winter formal, and Max was there to tell us all about it.
On Thursday, Ford Student Council hosted the Winter Formal, where over 100 students came to enjoy a night of pizza, dancing, and music. For some students there, spending time with friends made the dance more enjoyable.
You get to talk to your friends, listen to a bunch of music, and eat food and just hang out.
I think the importance would be, just to get around with your friends and see people you know and make memories mainly.
Usually the people. I just get to see all my friends, get to have fun, get to dance.
Some students choose to go to the dance to spend time with friends, but for students Nico Fanzo and Orion Tao, enjoying the high school experience was also a factor in their decision about whether to go to the dance.
I obviously want to enjoy my high school experience. It's a lot of fun to get out with your friends and see everyone and just have a good time.
It definitely makes up the high school experience. I mean, we've all seen in movies and other such that, in high school you would have a dance, go to many other things, and just have fun.
Creating a fun environment at dances can have challenges, but for many attendees, the DJ was a highlight of the winter formal.
But he just is really good. He plays all sorts of instruments. He even sings. So that really gets people excited.
Everybody's having a blast. It's cool. The DJ's nice. He's a really cool guy.
The DJ was really cool. He took requests. He did his own little song too. I thought it was cool. I think the sound audio was a lot better. It's like more surrounded.
The winter formal was put on by Ford Student Council, but for Mrs. Shook, Student Council's impact is greater than just the dance.
The Student Council gets students involved in school, happier to be here at school, that this is a place they want to come, that they want to be involved, that they are proud to be a Fred T. Ford Tiger.
Sometimes students need a break, and so a dance would be great to help motivate them.
The more students are participating in high school and the different events that go on, the better student they're going to be.
Student Council raised about $500 this year, so thank you to all the students, parents, and staff who helped make it possible. Back to you, Heather.
Thanks, Max. The dance was a lot of fun. I thrifted my dress, and finding the right one was a little less fun. This episode, I'm taking a closer look at how people shop today. Malls today seem to have less stores filled and more vacant lots. But during the 80s and 90s, they were booming with activity. According to a recent study done, 55% of consumers say they would rather buy online than in person. During this peak of activity for malls, it was a time for not only shopping, but also socialization. For Kelly Cooley, her teenage years were heavily affected by her time spent in her local mall.
It was a hub of activity. Teenagers used to go to the mall, socialize. That was the Friday night hangout for most of the teenagers.
With modern shopping trends like thrifting and online buying, certain shopping habits have contributed in less mall-based consumption.
Now with online shopping, that people would prefer to just, click, click, click. That's going to be like immediate gratification rather than having to go into a store and actually search or look for things.
But now you guys reap the benefit of the malls shriveling up and dying, but downtowns are thriving. Like downtown Hickory and downtown Newton, those are much better places than they were 5 years ago.
Some have been thrifting even before it was trendy. For Rachel, this means growing up thrifting and using it as a way to bond with her mother.
That's how I bonded with my mom, like thrifting. Then now that's how I bonded with most of my friends now, thrifting.
The U.S. thrift store market has grown 4.7% annually in the last 5 years, and used clothes are expected to exceed $77 billion by 2025. A huge trend is thrifting because of the rewarding feeling of good finds and its sustainability.
I was just at a thrift store once and I found something I liked, so then I was like, okay, I'm going to keep on going to see what else I find.
We thrifted back in the Philippines and we thrifted here too, because when we moved here, we started with nothing.
Gen Z has a very high percentage of thrifters, being 42%. But the mall still has loyal shoppers who prefer the mall atmosphere and the products it sells.
Goodwill's too expensive. For stuff that they get for free, they just jack up the price. Like, they make their jeans $30. I can get a brand new pair of jeans for $30.
Oh, I don't know. I've just never been into thrifting. I usually just get it from stores like these.
Sometimes when shopping, getting in and out as fast as possible is the goal, whether it's in or outside of the mall.
I'm not really a shopper, so I don't want to go from store to store to store to store looking for something. Like, I'll just go and buy it. Like, I know what I want and I'm just going to buy it.
So usually it's for, one item that maybe one store sells. I run in and run out.
Now it's time for this week's Wins with Wyant.
Hi, I'm E12, and this is the first episode of Wins with Wyant of 2024, and I'm here with Coach Elliott. So, Coach Elliott, what's your win for this week?
Well, Easton, I'd say my win for the week is probably the start of spring sports. It's exciting that all the student athletes are getting to go outside now and start of a new season, and hopefully we all compete to the best of our ability.
All right, and that's it for this Wins with Wyant of this 2024 edition. And Heather, back to you.
Well, that's all for this episode. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you the next.